And we're live. Oh, baby. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. Welcome to Dreamy Dreamland with Sensei Al Bob. I am your sensei, your griot, and I'm here to tell you a story. Don't believe a word I say. This is only for entertainment's sake. All the snowflakes and people who believe in something so much so that they can't stand anything else. Um, that don't have an inquiring mind, that don't want to ferret out um, what they are. That's the question of the day. And we'll kind of keep asking that question. What are you? You know? Now, the Christ was very adamant about that. Hey, Fish, good to see you, buddy. Yep. The question is, what are you, Fish? And if you go read John, the beloved, you will find out in the New Testament, right? And a lot of people, I don't like the Old Testament. Oh, it's not about me. The New Testament's all about me, so I want to know the New Testament. No, sorry. Alive. Well, how do you know you're alive? How do you know that you're not just a simulation, right? That you're not just somebody's algorithm in somebody's server? Hmm? Do 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 do. Hey, you guys ever watch the X Files? Chris Carter's X Files. For a good 10, 15 years, he kind of gave the 411 of, hey, kids, look what's going on, and did a really good job. And then he did, his version of Space Troopers, which was very good because it kind of gave you a heads up of that's exactly what's going on out there with a thing called Solar Warden. Let's see. People are chatting a little bit. It's bright in here, and they only made those letters bigger. Let's see. I've been doing it at. I choose to believe my life is in my computer. Well, right now my life's been in my gardening, right? So, what the Christ said, I will cut to the chase and tell you what Christ said. He said that we are God, right? Now, some people are gods. If you go, you know, guys out there in the Midwest with the gold underpants, they kind of say that, but like on the down low, like we're a demigod of some sort or something. But no, it's more like I keep speaking. If anyone has gone and read my stuff over at xratted.blogspot.com, I have my novel that I'm working on called Legend, and that's up there in whatever way you can get at it. Because some people say, "Oh yeah, you just hit that code and blah." The computer scene is a lot of people I've known who were in contact with me who were getting to be my students. Kind of their phone blew up. It was really interesting how their phone blew up. And this morning, when I was trying to do, shamanic ceremony on the computer towards you guys, earlier I say, what are you? And I started to, breathe and do ceremony. It went nuts, right? So, um, Mormons, that's the guy. Golden Underpants kids. They call, they kind of go to that, but people, on the Ten Commandments say, "Thou shalt not have false gods." Well, we are God, and so all of the stuff that we put in between ourself And that's the we and me is the God I'm talking about. It's that all our relations, we all make God. God made us in its, who knows what God really is. And the God that we think we know, that our religions are kind of based on, Christianity, the Hebrew nation, Islam, are based on the same God. You know, a lot of people in each of those would get upset with that, but not so much. We're all of that, and we are here. So there is your body, which you are not your body. Your body is just an avatar, a bag of water. Your soul. Oh, it's my eternal soul. No, your soul is the server. That little part of that connective tissue between spirit. And if you read the Bible, um, the Christ, and Jesus wasn't his name, he was the Christ. And that was the self actualized totality of the living God, And, he kept saying that we were children of God. He was the Son of God. And in reality, we're all God because we're like atoms. You put all us together, we're all different cells of God, right? So when things are right now really flustered, all of this stuff that's going on, and it's just going to get weirder and weirder and weirder. I keep saying 2021 is going to make 2020 look like Mary Poppins. And it's those who are looking for signs, if you read the Bible again, the Christ says, that is the mark of self-centered people who are looking for a sign. The reality is that we live our life. We are given enough um, info, teaching that if we can do our best, we're not, in the bag of water frame. We are not perfect because we have so many limitations, our senses. Um, we live in the Garden of Eden, but we are ripping it apart. All the first peoples are, when Chris came, from the time Chris Coe came to North, Central, and South. I don't like to call it America because that's America Vespucci, an Italian guy, and to name 3 continents after one guy, not so much. And so, it's what the first people called it, right? And basically, the Anglo-Saxon white Anglo persona of Europe came here and tried to kill every single Indian that could, and did a pretty good job. About 600 million of them over a 500-year period. And 1492, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, yeah, about 600 years. Um, um, it's like 100 million a year. And now it's coming home, it's like killing us, and we do it for money, like the Oxycontin family, right? Go read that. There's a book about the Sacklers, right? And just published. And, public radio, it was a good idea, but it's now corporate radio. But it's still better than most. And it depends on what neighborhood you live in. Some neighborhoods are pretty useless, but I get ETSU. You can go online, etsu.org or edu or whatever it is, and look for their radio station and look at all their programming. And Terry Gross at noon does a very good show. And after it is, let's see, is it past that time yet?
And you ask, has a dream ever come true? Have you ever had an experience where you thought you were in a presence, a supernatural presence? Have you ever heard a voice that didn't seem to come from anywhere? You get up so many stories, and I like to ask people this question because I always get interesting stories. So many things happen to us that we immediately explain away. And so I'm just not explaining away what's happening. That's all it is. It's not magical realism.
This is a very rich story with many plots and a lot of characters, and it's really fun reading. But, it is based upon this really consequential event, which was this attempt to, as you say, terminate the Turtle Mountain Band of Chippewa, which was in the end defeated because your grandfather managed to mobilize with meager resources a delegation and a persuasive case and take it to Washington.
Yep, that's Terry Gross's show on public radio, and that's a woman whose grandfather, in the early part of the 20th century, Congress just decided to say, the Indian problem is, we're just going to say that the Indians don't exist anymore. We're going to take them all off their lands. Even though we have treaties with them and they are sovereign nations, we're going to take them off their land and put them in cities. And that'll be the end of the end. And we won't give them money or even say they exist anymore. And that'll be that. And that didn't happen. I mean, the government, passed a law. They were doing it. And that woman's grandfather stood up and, and he had an 8th grade education and he had no money. And yet he mobilized people to stand against that. And so that is what Love's co-creation is all about. That is what the we in me is all about. That's what spirit is all about. So when you do anything with spirit, forget religion. I believe in Jesus, in God. That's why in my book I call God Gob. It's a gob. Gob of this and a gob of that and a gob of gold. It's a golden rule. Who has the gold rules? So it's we are more than our gender. We are more than our political, religious beliefs. We are more than our physical orientations, because these are all very limited, right? And to think that that's the be end and end all, not so much, And this is the reason why I do this show. I still only have $4 in my checking account. And if anyone wants to drop a gift into PayPal to my Gmail account of the Dude Awake 42, that would be I'd really appreciate it. So anyway, what else can I say? It's hard, I went to one of my places I normally can do a show, and you saw what happened earlier this morning. This one is hanging in there, but I've only been doing it now for 13 minutes and 13 seconds. I love it when that happens. And that's a synchronistic moment, but people who are looking for signs like that means something. It doesn't mean anything. Synchronicity is nothing. If you were to take 3 dice and put them in a cup and roll them 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 and roll them, at some point you would get 3 sevens. Does that mean anything? No. And I had a friend of mine who her boyfriend, he works in this lodge, like American Lodge, American Legion kind of place. And a friend of hers came in and to see her, and they had this, you put in $1 into the kitty and you roll the dice. Who gets the 3 sevens gets whatever's in the pot. Well, this pot had gotten up pretty big, and he had never been in there before. And they said, "Oh, here, put $1 in here." So I don't like to gamble. "Oh, put $1 in there." And he starts shaking it and shaking. Goes, if I win this, I'm going to feel bad about this because, I don't believe in it and I don't do it and I've never done this before. And he gets the 3 sevens. Did that mean anything other than he got a fistful of that? No. Now, there was a consequence. All those people who had been, who are addicted to gambling and who had been putting in their dollar for the last, however long, and years and years and years and never won anything. This guy just strolls in and does it mean anything? No. What it means is that those folks shouldn't gamble. Meaning, every now and then, if I have an extra dollar or two, I will, put it on the lottery. If I'm in the store, look, lottery. Oh, it's at 7 trillion. Here, my odds of winning that is like 7 trillion to 1. So, but I throw it in there. I don't expect to win. I'm not depending. That's not my business plan. I don't have a business plan. The closest thing I have to a business plan is that I have spare hose for when my water hose, gets too decrepit, and I have a couple of photo cells and car batteries for lights and charging of devices, and and I'm making a really beautiful garden. But the garden is more a presence than I'm depending on it for food, right? And it's out in the middle of the forest, and I had to clear it out so we get sun. And I'm sitting there, and what's really amazing is the owls. They are in the woods, right? But they have come and kind of not right on top of me, but real close. And when the little animals would be out and about going after my garden, they are like, woo woo. And it gets pretty woo woo sometimes. And I go out there and speak to them, and they like that. And what's really fun to watch is when they just swoop into my clearing. I'm sitting at the edge of it, or what I call my deck, and they swoop out and they do a little acrobatics for me, right? And there are some turkey vultures and some eagles that have nested nearby, along with lots of robins and all kinds of smaller birds. And the birds are getting along very famously, very nicely, right? And so are the insects. I have a lot of honeybees. I don't know where the hive is, but they're definitely buzzing around all my fruit trees and other trees and flowers that I've planted. So it's that's what my garden is. It's a place for me to go out, and I have a corner of it that's in the shade. I have a chair there, so when it gets sunny, I just kind of sit in the shade. And I've been drinking a lot of lemon water. Harris Teeter, which is stepchild to Kroger's. One of their things they do is when their vegetables or meat or anything gets to sell by that date, instead of throwing it out, they put it out and mark it super way down. Like I just bought a ton of chicken that we're gonna have to throw out, and they fried it up, and it's usually $12 a box, but you could buy 4 boxes, which was a whole chicken slice, for $2. That's gonna, because it's been cooked. I can keep it, in a cool spot in the woods, away from the animals, and eat that for the next month. I had $2, right? And the other thing they do is they have their vegetables that are about to go. I bought some last month, some asparagus and avocados, and I bought and then the stuff that they do throw out, they don't just, if it's still kind of good, like I got a ton of yogurt that they left in the box and they put it in a shady corner next to the dumpster, and if the animals didn't get it, I did. And that's how I eat. And it's the sign, the fact that I got a case of yogurts and I still eating yogurt, because it's been yogurtized, and so really it's not going to become really bad for a while, and I can eat it, and I have been for the last month, and that's how I survive on the limited. And I eat a lot out of the woods, Yeah, I think that might be it. When I play a recording from the phone, they don't like that. But I get it off the, television or off the radio, and I can't see how. And it's usually not, it's usually somebody being interviewed or talked to or whatever. Just like.
But like everyone else in Easttown, they have their own issues, motives, and perspectives.
Still Terry Gross.
Brad Inglesby created Mayor of Easttown, and Craig Zobel directed it, with different perspectives in.
It's interesting now that there's no real movie theaters. Everything's on some platform or another. So there's some pretty good shows out there. I don't see them unless I'm at somebody's house or someplace where I can watch it, but I don't see them normally. So, I mean, pretty much all I do is read and write, and garden and talk to you guys, right? So, what else? That's about it. Between now and 30:30, I'm gonna go unless a crowd shows up and speaks to the question, "What are you?" Now I already gave you the answer. Let's see if you. So what'd you think of that answer? That you're God. How does that roll for you? Do. How about you, AI? What do you think? Do. Anyway, any answers? Any questions? Anything? I have some, limited funding for gasoline. I just came here because I had a lot of different things to do, so I did them. And that's kind of, I only roll when I don't just roll to do one thing, unless it's relatively close. But Tuesday, depending on the weather, I think the next show will be. So how about some thumbs up, and if you can, throw something into PayPal at thedudewake42@gmail. Go read my novel I'm working on, Legend, but know that that's more the clipboard. I haven't read that version that's on xratted.blogspot.com. Wasn't really wordsmithed a lot, maybe 60 pages of that, however many pages that is. So anyway, anybody, Fish, you want to talk to me? Get a hold of me at, or anyone else, thedudewake42@gmail. And I'm pretty good at looking at that stuff, but I get so much spam. It takes a while to get at it. Plus, I don't really have to come here or someplace. And more places are limited to, that kind of access. It's what it is. What else can I say? I love you. That's what I can say. And I'll keep doing this as long as I feel that it's helping you guys, And the fact that, I don't know if I've gone over. Last time I looked, I was at 399 subscribers. Because if I go over 400, the algorithm changes and more people will see. And I went and, John Birmingham, I put up, I don't know, 40 or so shows on his channel. And, a number of them have like 200,000, 700,000 views. And people are still watching them. And he has titled it Dream Time. So if people were to go and Google Dream Time, all of these really other things come up. Nowhere do I come. Dreamy Dreamland. So he promised, because after about the 20th one, I said, I'm not doing this anymore. You keep throwing me out of the school. You keep screaming at me. You keep doing all this stuff. And I cook for you, I clean for you, and now he's begging me, he's coming, take care of me some more. Oh, I miss you. And it cost me about $100 each way, gas, energy, blah blah blah, to go there. And I'm not going back to Virginia until I have more than just John to go take care of. I have my eyes to be operated on sometime in May. Other doctor appointments. So then, and other things. I have friends who are running for elected office. I help them decide to go do that, and they're doing it, and they want to make a difference. So I can make a difference with them and other people there, because Roanoke, Virginia, is one of those microcosm cities of America. Whereas in New York City, LA, Houston, Austin, not so much. They're so big. Yes, they got everybody in it, but they're big and they got their own energetics. They're like their own planet. Roanoke has a slice of everyone's pie. It's quite interesting. So anyway, that's my report. And the thing I want to talk about is, what we are, what we're doing here, and it's not, to be rich and famous. I mean, I live like a millionaire out in the middle of the woods, You have people paying a fortune. A friend of mine's nephew is, selling the bark that I am. He invented a special box that he patented, that he can send the bark through the mail or UPS and or any other delivery system, and it doesn't wilt, right? And he's making some serious bucks, so good for him, but that's not my calling, and my friend brought over some of that bark. I said, so come in the woods. See, so this stuff is, and I put the bark he had down next to the tree on the ground, is the same stuff. And he goes, oh yeah, you got it growing right here in your woods. And it kind of looks alien, Here, I'll show it to you. I thought it was alien until my friend came by with his nephew's box of bark and said, look, that's the stuff that I think's alien. Let's show it to you. Do 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 do. There we go. That's the stuff that's all on a lot of fallen trees. Let's see, here's another. And that's the stuff that came in the box. So he's selling this like, $80 a little box, little box, like little box, and it's growing in my woods. And my friend, who's herbalist, nutritionist, all the above, said that fungus. He said it's not a fungus; it's a protein, blah blah blah, but it has more nutrition than a cheeseburger, you know. And he says you got to boil it, and you got to do this to it, and season it to your taste, but because it has a very earthy taste. And I would not have eaten it unless, like I said, I thought it was alien until he brought. He said, "I want to show you something. Look, my nephew is doing," and it was the same stuff. It was like very strange. Who else is here talking? Oh, still fish. Smoke them if you got them. Yep, exactly. Okay, baby. I love you, Fish. You're the best. Divine Fish, Fish Tennessee. The Fish family was here today. Okay. Do. Oh, look. Time flies when you're having a good time. How many people are still free? But I'm going to go. The sun's coming out, and I'm getting a little toasty in the scarf. So I love you guys. You stay well. Let's see. Bless us indeed, enlarge our territory. Put your hands upon our shoulder and keep us from evil, so we will do no harm. And then every day and every way we'll take the peace of the earth and make it stronger. As our service to love's co-creation in the we and me. Love you guys. Talk to you later.